Hey, what's up and welcome everyone to a new Warzone video. I'm actually reshooting this intro because after reading through the patch notes, I am thrilled. I was really disappointed today with the way that the servers were handled, with the update content that we got, but looking into the patch notes that I just read through, I'm thrilled for Season 3, the meta changes, the decisions they're going to be making. I had to reshoot this intro because the level of energy that I got as I'm reading through this is unmatched. I'm very, very excited for the future of Warzone. If you appreciate this video, please do me a favor and like this video. It makes all the difference in the world with getting it in the algorithm, especially on update day. I will be streaming the update live tomorrow on Twitch. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the patch notes and check out the changes that are coming to tomorrow's update. So expect an explosive impact as free content keeps flowing with 4 more multiplayer maps, next chapter of Zombies Outbreak, 6 new weapons, and an earth-shattering Warzone update. We've talked about this in the past, but they're actually giving us concrete things of what are being changed here in the coming patch notes. Also in the gameplay, we got some gameplay rolling along in the background, and I'll throw little strips of information so that way you guys can watch some gameplay and watch while we go through this. So the first thing that's going to come up starting on April 22nd, tomorrow, the Hunt for Adler, a limited time event where task operators with unique in-game challenges, both in Black Ops Cold War and Warzone, to learn of Adler's whereabouts. It's going to be very similar to what we've had in the past, where we are hunting down certain tasks, and once we complete them all, we get special in-game items. From there, the Season 3 Battle Pass. As you can see, man, they're definitely going more towards the Cold War direction with more vibrant gun skins, and we're going to learn more about that here in a bit. But at Tier 0, we instantly unlock Wraith, a new wood skin, and more. At Tier 15, we get the PPSH, a high firepower SMG, high rate of fire. Tier 21, we get the Vex Lord Assault Rifle Blueprint. Not sure what that's for. Gilded Rose Shotgun, Swiss K31 Sniper Rifle. That's going to be a competitor to the Kar 98, so fast aim down sight, quick shots off. Tier 55 Slow Death LMG. Tier 95 Loud Pipe Reactive SMG Blueprint, which I'm guessing will probably be the PPSH 95. And then Tier 100, the White Queen Wraith Skin and the Roman Standard Legendary Sniper Rifle Blueprint, which I believe is what we're looking at right there. That'll be a car, not the car, the K31. All right, from there, the map. The situation of Verdansk has hit a critical level. Armistice Central Command will be communicating directly to all operators with further instructions. General, new DLSS will be available, which is going to be awesome for our PC players. That's, what is it, chat? Chat's going to remind me. I'm actually streaming this live over on Twitch. It's something learning super sampling. Basically, it is, I think it's dynamic learning super sampling. It allows the game to super sample at a much more efficient rate, which is only going to increase your performance. Deep learning super sampling. There we go. Players no longer take armor bypassing damage when using a riot shield or facing an active thermite grenade. Not sure what that's about. And sticking a player with the Simtex will now always down them. Wow. Good for me because I use Simtex in my loadouts, but now if you get stuck, you are permanently dead even with EOD. Impressive. Accessibility, added mono audio to the game, which is awesome for people with issues hearing in one ear. Bug fixes. Fix most of the Cold War barrels, hip spread, and ADS idle sway. Fix the bug where the ZRG 20mm optics would not allow someone to hold breath. We've experienced that on like the 3 and 4 times. Fix the bug where some loot would drop in close proximity on death. So hopefully it gets a little bit more spread out. Fix the bug where player is down while switching to the gunner seat. They would become invincible or invulnerable. Seen that a few times. Fix the bug where random operator skin will select coalition operators. I'm not sure about that. Fixing a bug where Baker's 4th operator. Not really cared about that. And fix the bug causing certain operators to appear headless while using the Ffa R1. If you haven't seen that before, especially when people would pull out heartbeat sensors, their head would disappear. So weapons, there's a lot in this side. The Cold War weapons have had their ammo names updated. The FFAR crosshair has been updated to match other assault rifles. I'm not sure what that means. But then we got the 2 new ones. We've got the SMG and we got the K31 sniper rifle. For the assault rifles, this is where we get into the patch notes of where the game meta is actually changing. The Cold War AK-47, the recoil pattern has been adjusted. It says the recoil pattern on the Cold War AK-47 has made its downsides far more apparent than its upsides. We have smoothed out this recoil to make it easier to control. If you're accurate or skilled at recoil control, you can now find the Cold War AK quite effective at most ranges, which is awesome. It's one of the best guns in the game. It was GA'd actually out of competitive Call of Duty over on the Black Ops side, or Black Ops side. The Cold War. So it's pretty good to see that it might be viable, and I really want to go back to an AR SMG meta. From there, we have the FAR 83, the minimum damage increased from 25 to 26, and the maximum damage decreased from 33 to 31. Maximum damage range increased to 17%, and recoil pattern has been adjusted. As a fast-firing AR with relatively strong recoil, we felt there was a bit too much identity of overlap between the FAR 83 and the FFAR. We have smoothed out its recoil and pushed its damage profile to be more viable mid to long-range AR. Yeah, the recoil is really, really too strong. If you remember that gun, it pulled really hard up and to the left. So hopefully it now is a decent gun, because it had really, really strong stats, but it was just too difficult to control at medium to long range. So hopefully that becomes something viable. From there, we have the Ffa R1. The maximum damage has been decreased from 30 to 27. The maximum damage range has been decreased by 15%. The neck damage multiplier changed from 1.1 to 1. The upper torso damage multiplier changed from 1.1 to 1. And ADS speed decreased slightly. It's nerfed, and actually nerfed. They nerfed the ADS speed again, but then it's no longer as damaging to the upper neck and the chest, and they decrease the damage range, and they decrease the max damage. King W's. I'm actually excited to get on tomorrow. We might have an SMG meta again. With high damage and high rate of fire and a competitive magazine size, the FFAR has enjoyed a lengthy reign of terror, a girthy reign of terror on the short to mid-range engagement space, when a weapon is so ruthlessly efficient that it pushes the entirety of a weapon category out of viability. SMGs. The FFAR will remain a respectable option following this change, but it should now be a playstyle preference rather than a loadout necessity. W. Groza. Highly... Recoil increased slightly, ADS speed decreased slightly. Awesome. So it's they've also nerfed the Groza, because that was supposed to be like the next FFAR. Good news. Very good news. The upper torso damage multiplier changed from 1.3, dear lord, to 1.1. This change is more of a precaution. We expect, when the absence of the FFA R1, that the Groza rise would take place. While there is always a meta, we want the meta to exist in a TTK range that is a bit higher. Please, yes! Higher TTKs than where we are currently. In that regard, we believe the Groza was a bit of an outlier that, much like the FFAR, would have been too detrimental to weapon diversity. Bringing the Groza down a notch should allow for some healthy competition in this weapon category. Chat's happy. I'm happy. Yes. Holy cow. Krieg. Headshot, head damage multiplier changed from 1.4 to 1.5, so a Krieg buff. Neck damage changed from 1 to 1.3. Upper torso changed from 1 to 1.1. Lower torso 1 to 1.1. Buff the Krieg a lot. The Krieg has long been overshadowed by the other all-stars of the AR category. We believe this change will allow for a more competitive time to kill, given the shots are well placed. If you guys remember, you may not have tried the Krieg much, but there were two variants on the ground. There was a purple and an orange Krieg that felt pretty underwhelming, but this might actually bump them up into a more viable option in the meta, which is super exciting, because I think the Krieg's not a bad gun. The QBZ-83. Wow! If you remember this gun, you already zoomed with this gun. The QBZ movement speed has been increased. The ADS movement speed has been increased. The neck damage has changed from 1 to 1.2 and upper torso from 1 to 1.1. Wow. The QBZ is a unique weapon that trades overall lethality for mobility. We aim to provide players with the tools that support a magnitude of interesting playstyle options. Our goal is that with the right attachments, skillful maneuvering and rotations will be a hallmark of QBZ playstyle. We have also given it a much-needed nudge into lethality, and you can manage for aiming and moving simultaneously. W. This will be a very fun gun. Guys with the movement, guys who can like strafe and counter aim with their strafing. This update's looking very, very promising. Submachine guns. LC-10 bullet velocity increased slightly. It was a little underpowered. MAC-10 maximum damage decreased by 1. So MAC-10 got a slight nerf. This is another precautionary change to promote diversity. Thank you. The MAC-10 is both a popular and a fun gun to use. Part of what makes the MAC-10 feel fair to play against is that its upside feels comparative to its downside. That is where the player skill comes in. Knowing when that weapon swap during an engagement is a facet of skill expression we want to highlight whenever possible. While this change only brings the MAC-10's time to kill up by about 10%, we think is a good place to start to encourage exploration in the SMG category. Awesome. So they buffed the LC-10. Guns like the Bullfrog are already in a really good spot. Cold War MP5 is in a pretty good spot as well. And a slight nerf to the MAC-10 should add some more variety, which is awesome. Sniper rifles, the Pellington, the Sellington. The Pellington ADS speed has been increased. and the raise time increased slightly. Not sure what that means. ADS speed has been increased, so you ADS faster, and the raise time has been increased slightly, so it takes longer to raise it. Let me know down in the comments if that makes sense to you, because it doesn't make sense to me. Tactical rifles. The Cold War Tactical Rifle Charlie. Time between bursts increased by 33%, and the neck damage multiplier changed from 1.8 to 1.3. The AUG nerfed. So instead of it's like hopefully, I don't know. I hope it's super slow. M16 time between bursts increased by 10%, and the neck damage multiplier from 1.8. So that's like upper chest. That's when sometimes with a car, like a car 98, you feel like you can get a headshot, even though you don't get the headshot logo, you're hitting the neck. 1.8 to 1.1. Wow. Great nerfs. Still will be beaming if you hit the heads, but takes that neck out of the equation. Awesome. The Cold War Tactical Charlie and M16 were able to reach rates of fire that allowed the wielder to negate a requisite identity pillar of burst file rifles. Accuracy. Exactly, because we're just spamming. With the rate of fires and generous burst pattern, shots were not required to be well placed. Exactly. You would inherit high damage profile and range of burst rifles with minimal downside. Thank you. With this change in the rate of fires barrels noted, you will now need to aim deliberately if you intend to kill quickly. W. And we are keeping a close eye on the AMAX. No! No King's rule forever. I mean, frankly, the AMAX headshot multiplier is pretty insane. I've died faster to the AMAX than I've died to the M16. So, if it hits, it hits. Attachments. Position concealment. Position concealment will reduce the time your position is visible on the compass and minimap after firing. This effect has been added as a pro on both FlashGuard and SOCOM KGB Eliminator. Position concealment will reduce the time of your position is available on the compass and minimap after firing. Interesting. I don't use either of those. I use, the suppressors, so the red dot just goes away quicker, but I just prefer not to be a red dot at all. All right, here we go. Wow. Listen to this. So not only was the M16 and the AUG nerfed, the barrels that helped them also were nerfed. The rapid fire M16 barrel, increased rate of fire reduced by 58%. The AUG rapid fire, increased rate of fire reduced 56%. The strike team, which is what we all use, M16, reduced by 66%. Strike team, AUG, reduced by 64%. Titanium, reduced rate of fire 61%. Titanium, reduced rate of fire by 59% for the AUG. The Sorakan 140mm auto, minimum damage reduced from 23 to 19. The Cyclops got nerfed again. Minimum damage reduced from 23 to 19. Sorakan auto and akimbo. Minimum damage reduced from 19 to 14. Cyclops are in the dirt. If you use the auto barrels and the akimbo, reduced from 19 to 14, Cyclops got dumpstered. Let's go, baby. The Cyclops, when equipped with any permutation of the Sorakan 140mm, has been far too lethal at range than we would prefer. When secondary weapons can go toe-to-toe with, or even best, a primary weapon consistently. Thank you. We risk streamlining access to one of the most powerful person in the game, Ghost. Thank you. While we continue to examine the impact that Ghost has on gameplay, providing easier access with negligible downsides is not something we want to enable. Thank you. Ember sighting point. Now we're on to laser adjustments. They are killing it. They're killing it. After today, I was very skeptical getting into this, but they are killing it. Ember sighting point. ADS speed penalty reduced by 20%. So the Ember is now buffed. The ADS speed penalty has been reduced by 20%. The soft target designator flashlight is now visible during hip fire and ADS. Wow, so it's pretty much on all the time. Magazines. The Salvo Fast Mag. ADS penalty reduced. Wow. The ADS penalty has been reduced by 20%. So if you remember the speed mag on the FFAR, I believe that's the Salvo Fast Mag, the 50-round Fast Mag. It was once a huge nerf because it caused a massive, it took a lot longer to aim down sight, and now it doesn't. Speed mag for pistols. The ADS speed penalty has been reduced. Sniper, reduced. SMG, reduced. Awesome. So we now can get the speed mags in. We can all reload faster. We can get into the gunfight and not be penalized with ADS as much, which feels great to me. I want to be able to reload and get back into the fight. Muzzles, flash guard, added position concealment. Sogam eliminator, added position concealment. We talked about that earlier. Optics, the Suicide multi-zoom, ADS penalty reduced by 10, so that got a buff. The ultra zoom custom, ADS penalty reduced by 20, which is good because the ultra zoom was extremely slow. Same thing with the vulture, that was reduced by 20. And rear grips, increased ADS speed reduction, increased ADS speed reduced, increases to ADS speed reduced by roughly 2. Okay. Wow. So the rear grips already felt kind of useless, but increases to ADS speed reduced by roughly 10%. So they're actually nerfing aim down sight. Which I already thought they were bad, so I'm kind of surprised they did that. We've begun the iterative process of tweaking values on attachments. We would like the diminution of weapons downside to be a build decision or build direction rather than a single attachment choice. As it stands, we feel most attachments need to have their values addressed in some regard to achieve this. We are hoping to make previously non-viable options less so, in addition to widening the overall build variety. This may include increasing upsides or downsides on existing attachments. We are also looking at how we can create more compelling choices within the confines of attachment categories, chiefly muzzles like monolithic and agency suppressor. Yeah, if they wanna adjust monolithic and agency suppressor, they're really gonna have to do some work. Given the magnitude of balance changes in this past, we may make some adjustments shortly after Season 3 to ensure that the meta is healthy and stable. As always, please continue to share your feedback. No, that's fair. They still got more. Operators, rows. We've adjusted the rows in order to improve operators' readability and visibility where sources of light are available. I don't know how I feel about that, because it says when sources of light are available, but where rows thrives is where they've done a poor job lighting their game. Inside of stairwells, inside of Superstore, inside of dark corners. I just don't think a character period should be able to be completely blacked out. New operators added. They're going to have Wraith, Knight, and Antonaut. We talked about that in a previous video. New prestiges we've talked about. New stores we've talked about. And the update size is going to be about 25 gigabytes for everyone. But ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps up the entire Season 3 patch notes for Warzone. And despite how, frankly, disappointed I was with what we had for showing today, it looks like we have some very, very promising content ahead of us. The meta's headed in a good direction with a higher time to kill, adjustments to a lot of the guns that have been dominating the meta, like the MAC-10, the FFAR, the M16, the AUG. We got some cool new weapons coming in, like the PPSH and the new sniper rifle. This is not a hashtag ad. I'm not a COD partner. They actually are making decisions that I'm very, very excited about. I think we can continue to push the envelope towards a longer time to kill to encourage outplays, finesse, and more player skill. But baby steps, and these are baby steps in the right direction. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's video, if you are excited about the change to come, do me a favor and destroy the like button. It makes all the difference in the world with getting into the algorithm. I will be streaming the update live tomorrow on Twitch at noon PST, but I'll be streaming all morning, so make sure you are subscribed. And as always, say hi to my boys over in Twitch chat on your way out the door. As they say goodbye, everyone say hi to YouTube. Everyone say hi to YouTube. Love you guys. Hope you guys appreciate today's video. I will see you all tomorrow live on the new map in Warzone.